Hello student, how are you? I hope you are safe and healthy. I am your Panda sir who will be teaching you today the consumer behaviors. Topic is consumer equilibrium. After going through this lesson, you will be able to know the meaning of utility, total utility and marginal utility, law of diminishing marginal utility, consumer equilibrium through cardinal approach or utility approach, indifference curve, indifference map and budget line, consumer equilibrium under ordinal approach or indifference curve analysis. So the first we'll learn the meaning of utility, which already you have learned it in my previous video. I hope you understand that part. Even then, before going through the consumer equilibrium, you also know the meaning of utility. That's why I put it over here just for recapitulation. So the first meaning of the utility is basically utility is the one satisfying power of a commodity. More stronger the aspiration to have it, more utility you will procure from the goods. For example, if you like more sweets, will get much higher utility from the sweets than someone who does not like it. The utility that individual obtain from the goods can be differ with the changes in location and time. For example, that utility of use of air conditioner certainly relies upon the weather, whether the person is in Delhi or in Gangtok, that is location, or whether it is in winter or summer. So basically the utility is the one satisfying capacity of a commodity. It is vary from person to person. It also vary from the location and season. So that is the utility. Now we learn the total utility. Total utility is the sum total of marginal utility obtained from the consumption of different unit of a commodity. If you are consuming, for example, 2 oranges, then the first oranges, if it is give 10 utils, and second oranges it gives you 8 utils, then the total utility is equal to 10 plus 8 is equal to 18 utils. That's why the TU is equal to summation of mu. Whatever marginal utility you are getting by consuming additional unit of a commodity, if you go on adding it, then only you will get it the marginal total utility. So that's why total utility is therefore summation of marginal utility. Marginal utility is the addition to the total utility derived by consuming an additional unit of a commodity. So the marginal utility is basically calculated by using a formula, that is MUN is equal to TUN, total unit from the nth unit, and minus total unit derived from n minus 1 unit. So that's the marginal utility. As I have given example that you are consuming 2 oranges and total utility you get it here 18. In my previous example, first one gives you 10. So the marginal utility therefore second unit is equal to 18 minus 10, that is 8 utils. So that's how marginal utility is calculated. Now we are going to learn the law of diminishing marginal utility. This law states that as the consumer is consuming more and more unit of a commodity, the marginal utility derived from the successive unit goes on decreasing, which means as you are consuming without any time interval one after another unit of a commodity, then the marginal utility, that is additional utility, derived from the additional consumption goes on diminishing. Now to establish this law, there are basic assumptions are there. This assumption, first assumption is called consumer is rational. Consumer is able to judge whether he is getting more utility or less utility, whether he is satisfied or dissatisfied. If the consumer can able to judge, then the consumer is known as rational consumer. Cardinal measurement of utility. In this utility approach, one of the important assumption is the utility can be measure in terms of quantity, that is in number 1, 2, 3, but that unit is utils. So it is expressed in terms of number and it is given unit called utils. The standard unit of a commodity are consumed every time, say cup of tea, glass of water, not a drop of water, etc. like that. Consumption is continuous. There is no time interval between two successive consumption. Price of the goods remain constant. The first unit which you are buying at, if say 10 rupees, the second unit also you are paying 10 rupees. Third unit you also paying 10 rupees. That is, price will be remaining constant, will be same. Now, based on this assumption, if we derive one utility schedule and it's given over here that unit of X you are consuming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the total utility derived from the first unit is 20 units, 20 utils, second 30 utils, third 38, fourth 43 utils, fifth 43 utils, sixth is 40 utils. Now, marginal utility we are deriving marginal utility using this formula TU mu n is equal to TUN minus 1. Now based on that we calculate the mu x, and the first unit, since our consumer is in the 0 unit consumption, while the consumer is consuming 0 unit, what is his mental status, it's not given. That's why we are not able to calculate it. That's why first unit we kept it dash, so we will not be able to identify it or calculate. Now second unit we will find it here TUN minus 1. That is just, if it is consumption is successive, just you have to minus 30 minus 20, that comes 10. Similarly, for the third unit 38 minus 30, which gives you 8. Similarly, fourth unit 43 minus 38 will give you 5. And the fifth unit 43 minus 43 will give you 0. Similarly, in the last unit, that is sixth unit, 40 minus 43 will get minus 3. So negative or dissatisfied, you are dissatisfied while you are consuming sixth unit of good X. Now if this utility schedule, this if we plot in a diagram, you will get the diagram is like that. The marginal utility, a straight line, is diminishing and moving to the negative zone, and as we are showing in the diagram, and over here will be that marginal utility curve intersecting x-axis. So where there is x-axis intersecting the point, that is the marginal utility becomes 0 over there, and after that if you start consuming more unit you will get negative marginal utility. That's what the marginal utility curve, it starts from positive positive quadrant and then move to the negative quadrant. Now in the above schedule you understood that while we are consuming, consumer is consuming good X, marginal utility is diminishing. It become 0 when it is fifth unit consumption is there, and it's negative when he is consuming more than fifth unit. Accordingly, marginal utility curve slopes downwards to the right. Marginal utility becomes 0 at the point of intersection of mu curve with the x-axis and is negative below the x-axis. So that's the law of diminishing marginal utility. I hope you understand this one. It's clear to you. Now we'll move to the next part. Relationship between TU and MU. Now let's take two. One is schedule we have given over here. Another one is diagram. Now based on that we can able to work out that what is the relation between TU and MU. You will look at the when unit of good X 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is there, that 20, and as the previous I have taken over here, that 20, 30, 38, 43, 43, 40, these are total utility, and marginal utility as you calculated the 10, 8, 5, 0, 3. And if you plot it, you will find the total utility curve is moving upwards. It moved to the saturation point, that is maximum point, thereafter it is declined. So where there is a saturation point, if you draw the line from that point, you will find that mu curve is passing through this point. Mu curve will be over here, intersecting point will be over here. So when we draw the line, you will find it that the marginal utility curve will be intersecting x-axis when Tu is maximum. This point you have to remember, these 2 points. And then as you see that when mu curve moves below the x-axis negative zone, you will find total utility curve starts declining. That's the important point you have to remember. So when it is increased, you will find it is increasing. So look at the relations over here, that when mu is decreases, Tu increases at diminishing rate till 5 unit of good consumption of good X. You have seen over here that as your marginal utility starts decreasing to this point, you will find Tu is increasing till this 5 unit of consumption. And the second one is when Tu is maximum, mu is equal to 0, that is at 5th unit. You have seen when it is maximum over here, mu is equal to 0, this point. Mu is equal to 0. And the third one is when mu is negative, then Tu starts declining, that is beyond 5th unit of good X, consumption of good X. So that's the relationship between Tu and mu. Now the consumer equilibrium under utility approach. First, we will know the meaning of consumer equilibrium. Consumer equilibrium refers to a situation where a consumer maximizes his consumption by spending his given income across different goods and services at given price. So while he is consuming, his main intention to have maximum satisfaction from the given money and the price of the commodities. Now, this under utility approach, the consumer equilibrium are explained in case of single commodity and in case of multiple commodity. So, we will be discussing detail about the consumer equilibrium in case of single commodity. Given that the utility is cardinal concept, so basic assumption is over here that we are cardinal concept when utility can be measured in terms of number. Marginal utility from different unit of a commodity can be measured in terms of money, and assuming the marginal utility of the money is remain constant. The consumer will attain the equilibrium where MUX by PX is equal to MUM. So this is the main condition of the equilibrium under cardinal approach for single commodity, that is MUM by MUX by PX is equal to MUM. This one is the main condition. So the first one we have to take it that the utility can measure in terms of quantity, and the marginal utility goes on diminishing, that part, that feature law of diminishing marginal utility will be applied. Marginal utility of money is remain constant, the money MUM, that consumer whatever the value for 10 rupees, first 10 rupees and the second 10 rupees value will be remain same, it will not going to change. That is the meaning of marginal utility of money will be remain same. Now these are basic part is there. MUX is equal to marginal utility of good X, PX is equal to price of X, MUM is equal to marginal utility of money, which is constant as we have assuming in our assumption, we have assuming over here. Now based on that we'll explain it this one with the help of schedule and diagram, and let's move to the next slide. We are assume here that marginal utility of money is 2 utils and price of commodity X is 10 per unit, and then we will find it if the number of number of unit of good X is 1 unit and price is 10 rupees, the marginal utility you are getting, that is 40, and as you divided mu x by px, that means 40 divided by 40, this 40 divided by 10, you will get 4. So this one is 4. How will get it? Now mu x, whatever mu x means 40 divided by 10, that is your 4 mu x by px. So that is the first unit. Now second unit, we have px is remain constant 10 rupees. Mu x, since it is following law of diminishing marginal utility, that's why it is decreased 30. And if you divide it again, this 30 divided by 10, you will get 3 as uh, your mu x by px. Now same way, if you go for the third unit, we'll have prices remain same 10, mu x is decreasing again to 20, and if you divide 20 by 10, you will get 2. Same way, fourth unit, price is 10, marginal utility again decreased to 10, and it comes 1, and it goes on like that. Now you will find it as per the condition of the equilibrium that mu x by px must be equal to mu m, and that one will find it while the consumer is consuming third unit of consumption, third unit of the commodity. Over here mu x by px is equal to 2 and marginal utility of money is given 2. This 2 and this one 2 is matching in this case, and that's why consumer will start or get equilibrium while consumer is consuming third unit of commodity. If he is after third unit, he will be loser over here because he is getting over here 1 but paying 2. That is the loser. That's why he will stop consumption at third unit of the commodity over here. Now if we represent this one in a graph, you will find it your marginal utility curve is sloping downwards to the negative zone, but we will just take it part in the positive part, and then you will find the price you have seen it that 10 rupees every time it is constant. This one is constant, that's why price line is parallel to x-axis. Now next is you will find the price line is intersecting the marginal utility curve at point E, and you will find the consumer is getting now commodity OQ unit where he is getting the maximum satisfaction, and as we shown in shaded region, so total consumption is a total satisfaction he is getting after consuming OQ unit of the commodity X. Now in this point E, we have the condition for equilibrium, that is mu x by px equal to mu m is satisfied. That's what. But what if the consumer is consuming say Q1 OQ1 unit of commodity, you will find he will be loser of U1F, that is the yellow shaded region I have shown over here. You will be losing that part as compared to the previous. Now if he is taking the other part, the other means O U1, if you consumer start consuming more than OQ unit, you will find it that he again loser of E2G unit, that another YOLO region we have mentioned, that will be the loser. He will be less satisfied over here if he consuming OQ2 unit of the commodity. So to get maximum satisfaction, he will be consuming only OQ unit of the commodity X in order to get maximum satisfaction. So I hope you understood this diagram and schedule to the consumer equilibrium in case of single commodity. The one which I have illustrated over there in the curve, it is illustrated over here the same way. And the marginal utility of the money is 2 utils, and referring to the consumer satisfaction from the standard set of good X available for a rupee at price of good X is equal to rupees 10 per unit. In the above schedule, the consumer attained the equilibrium while consuming third unit of commodity X, where the condition for equilibrium is satisfied. If the consumer buys less unit, that is less than 3 unit, say 2 unit, then mu x by px less than px. As a result, he will buy more of good x. Similarly, if he buy more than 3 units, say 4th unit of good x, then mu x by px less than px. Hence, in order to maximize the satisfaction, consumer will consume 3 unit of the commodity x. That's the illustration of the diagram which we have discussed previous slide. Consumer equilibrium in case of multiple commodities. Over here, law of equi-marginal utility is applied. This law states that in order to maximize the satisfaction, a consumer must spend his money on 2 or more commodity in such a manner that the ratio of marginal utility of a commodity to its price become equal to the ratio of marginal utility of the other commodity to its price, which basically talk about that the marginal utility derived from the commodity, say good X, and the ratio of and its ratio to price must be equal to the marginal utility derived from the another commodity, say good Y, to its ratio of price. So if we just explain it this one, just take it that for good X as single commodity we discuss here, that mu x by px equal to mu m, and if good Y is consumed, and that good Y, if I am taking over here that good Y, for good Y the condition become mu y by py is equal to mu m. Now if you check it, these two, equation 1 and equation 2, the mu m both right side are equal. Mu m are equal. So if we go for equalize the equation 1 and 2, you will find, since right sides are equal, you will find that from 1 and 2, you will find mu x by px equal to mu m. Or if it is more than that, even z, another commodity is there, then you will find mu x by px equal to mu y by py equal to mu z by pz, and so on, must be equal to the marginal utility of money subject to price of x uh, multiplied by the unit of x plus price of y multiplied by unit of y, and the other commodity, if it is there, must be equal to the money the which available to the consumer. So that is law of marginal utility. So thus law of equi-marginal utility helps a consumer will to allocate his expenditure on two commodities in such a way so that the utility gain from the last rupee spent on each commodity will be equal. So it's help us consumer to allocate his expenditure, his money on two or more commodity in such a way so that the utility gain from the last rupees spent on each commodity must be equal. So that is law of equi-marginal utility, and CBSE syllabus is not much on this part. That's why we are not discussing any more in this part, but then numerical question I'll be giving you another video where numerical question will be given and how to solve it, the procedure will be given another video. Now we'll move to the ordinal approach, which is known as another name is their indifference curve analysis. So under that we'll know the meaning of indifference curve. An indifference curve is a curve that represents all the combination of two goods that gives the same level of satisfaction to the consumer. Since all the combination gives same amount of satisfaction, the consumer prefer them equally, hence the name is indifference curve. So under indifference curve analysis, the main difference between, we'll be discussing little later, the main difference between cardinal approach and ordinal approach over here. Cardinal approach, it talks about the utility can be measured in terms of number, whereas indifference curve is opposing this statement that the satisfaction cannot be measured in terms of number. It can be given the rank like good, better, best, or something like that. So that's what that it gives you a choice, a combination uh, of two different commodities which gives the same level of satisfaction. If it is good, means good in any combination. In the indifference curve, as we are drawing over here curve, which you will find that any combination on the curve, on this curve, will be same in any point. If you select it, the two combination good x and good y, it gives you the same level of satisfaction. That's why it is known, it is consumer is indifference over here, or selecting the um, different combination of the goods, because all the combination gives you the same level of satisfaction. And that's what the indifference curve is talking about. And indifference curve, as I have drawn over here, it slopes downwards to the right and little convex, not little convex, it is convex to the origin, and why it is we'll be learning later. Now indifference map. Indifference map is a set of indifference curve. It depicts the complete picture of the consumer preference. In other words, an indifference map is a family of indifference curve where higher and higher indifference curve shows higher and higher level of satisfaction. In the adjacent figure, you will see that there are three IC curve is drawn, that is IC1, IC2 and IC3. These IC1, IC2, IC3, it gives you the rank of satisfaction. The IC1 is showing the lower level of satisfaction as compared to IC2 and IC3. IC2 give you the higher level of satisfaction as compared to IC1, but it's lower than the IC3, whereas IC3 gives you the higher level of satisfaction as compared to both IC1 and IC2. So the all combination in IC1 offer the same level of satisfaction, but all combination on IC3 give you the greater satisfaction than those on IC1 or IC2. Similarly, IC3 offer more satisfaction than IC3, IC2 and so on. So that's the indifference map. Now we are going to discuss one important terms called marginal rate of substitution. In short, it is MRS. The marginal rate of substitution is the rate at which a consumer is ready to exchange good X for good Y. It is the ratio of loss of good Y to gain of good X. It is also known as the slope of indifference curve. So in summarized form, it is basically how much a consumer is sacrificing one commodity to get another commodity, one unit of another commodity. That is basically the marginal rate of substitution. I have given over here one example for illustration. It will be easier for you to understand this one. Say rational consumer, say Nandita, initially give up 6 unit of good y to get extra unit of good x. Look at here, when good x is 1 and he is just taking one more unit, that is 2, difference, look at 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. Good y initially you he has, the consumer, or so she has, Nandita, she has 12 unit and she is ready to give 6 unit over here. The 12 next is just for 1 unit addition, he willing to sacrifice 6 unit. I think you understood, 6 plus 6, 12. So this part is this difference. Look at this one is, if you add it, then you will get it this one, 12. He is sacrificing 6 unit over here, whereas over here is just 1 unit. So that is the first case. The second case, you will find, while he is going to subsequently part, similarly for subsequent exchange, the MRS is 2 and 1 respectively. As you see over here, that when he is going to combination of C, just taking one more unit of good X from 2 to 3, then he is sacrificing 2 unit over here. Earlier 6 unit, now he is giving 2 unit. As I said it, look at these two difference. 6 and 4 difference is 2, or 4 plus 2 is 6. So that's how the, and similarly the D combination, you check it, that he is willing to give only 1, means he is willing to exchange Y for X 1 unit only. So that is called marginal rate of substitution. And over here, interesting fact, this marginal rate of substitution is goes on diminishing from 6 to 2 to 1, and because of that you will find your indifference curve is convex to the origin. Why the indifference curve is convex to the origin? Sometimes question comes. The reason is the diminishing marginal rate of substitution, due to which the indifference curve is convex to the origin. I hope it is clear. Now more it will be uh, illustrated over here. Interestingly, Nandita accumulate, why it is, you will find it, accumulate more unit of good X, the marginal rate of substitution starts falling, meaning C is prepared to give up fewer unit of good Y for good X, and there are two reasons why it is happening. You will find, as Nandita gets more and more unit of good X, his intensity to desire for additional unit of good X is decreased. Even in the previous lesson we have learned that as you consume one after another unit of a commodity, marginal utility goes on decreasing. Similarly over here, as you are consuming more of good X, your intensity to desire to have that good X is decreasing. That's what, in the initial stage, he is willing to exchange 6 of good Y for 1 unit of good X, whereas in the second combination, means combination C, you will find Nandita is willing to give only 2 of good Y for additional unit of good X, and it is decreasing in combination D also. She is just willing to give 1 unit of good Y to get 1 unit of good X. So that's what the marginal rate of substitution talks about. And over here we show it in a curve. You will find this good X and good Y combination, you will find it over here that every time it is decreasing. Look at the curly bracket is depicted over here, and you will find the first one, it is the difference, this difference is higher. In the initial case he is willing to give more, but as he is getting more and more unit of good X, his intensity to get X is decreasing and willing to sacrifice less unit of good Y, and that's what the uh, indifference curve is convex to the origin. and this is known as MRS, also known as the slope of indifference curve, which is defined as delta y by delta x. This delta y means the loss of good loss of good y divided by gain of good x. So that's the marginal rate of substitution. I hope it is clear. All of you understand this part. Now we'll move to the feature of indifference curve. First one, indifference curve slopes downwards. As we saw, different indifference curve, it is sloping downwards, and because uh, as you are, it shows that more of one commodity implies less of other, so that the total satisfaction remains same. Indifference curve convex to the origin due to the diminishing diminishing marginal rate of substitution. That's why uh, the indifference curve slopes to the origin, as we discussed in the previous slides. Now, indifference curve never touch or intersect each other, which is very important. You check it that the indifference curve never touch or intersect. Like I am drawing over here, these two. If this is IC2 and this is IC1, if it is IC1, then these two will not be intersect each other, because the indifference map, if you learn it, indifference map shows the higher and higher indifference curve gives the higher and higher level of satisfaction, whereas if they intersect each other, you will find that over here IC2 is giving you more than IC1, but over here is opposite, that IC1 gives more satisfaction than IC2. And that is the logic that two indifference curve should not, two or more indifference curves should not intersect or tangent to each other. If it is tangent, then both indifference curve level of satisfaction will be equal. So that's what the logic over here, that indifference curve never touch or intersect each other. Next one is higher indifference curve represent higher level of satisfaction. It is obvious, we discussed in the indifference map that higher and higher indifference curve give you the higher and higher level of satisfaction. Next one is that indifference curve neither touch x-axis nor y-axis. So indifference curve should not be touching. I'll just draw it over here. You can see it while you are drawing the indifference curve. Indifference curve should not touch or intersect x-axis or y-axis. It will be completely outside, or it will not touch from the x and y-axis. If you drawn your indifference curve like that, it is a wrong indifference curve. So indifference curve should not um, touch or intersect x and y axis. Why this logic is taken? Because if it is touch over y axis, you will find that x value comes 0. But indifference curve definition said it combination of two commodities x and y. But if it is touching y axis, then x becomes 0. Over here x is 0. Similarly, when it is touching to x axis, then y becomes 0. That means you will not get the combination of two commodities. And that is the logic over here, that indifference curve should not touch or intersect the x or y axis. So that the feature of indifference curve. Now we'll go to the budget constant or budget line or budget constant. Budget line represent the different possible combination of two goods which can be purchased by the consumer with his given income and price of two commodities. And the cost of each of these combination is equal to the income of the consumer. In the adjacent diagram, you will find that budget line is depicted, one straight line AB is there, and which give you the combination of two commodities that the consumer can afford to buy it from the given money. And the equation of the budget line is Px into x plus Py into y is equal to M. Whatever money he has, a consumer has, that money he is spending on two commodity X and commodity Y, you will find that consumer can able to, if they afford to have that spending all money on buying of two commodities, and because of that one budget, straight budget line which is intersecting x-axis and y-axis over here, and different combination will be representing the on spending of the commodity on two commodities. And when it is intersecting the y-axis, he is consuming only commodity y, and when it is intersecting x-axis, two extreme point is there, he is consuming the good x only, 0, y is 0. uh, Over here in the y-axis he is consuming only good y, not good x. So that is, and in between any of these point on the budget line, it gives you the combination of two commodities, the good x and good y. Now slope of budget line is calculated by taking the change from good x to good y, and that one is defined as px by py, that is the ratio of the two commodities. So this is the budget line. The slope of budget line is px, and px by py, slope means as how much we are sacrificing the good y to get 1 unit of good x. So this is basically slope. Over here this is one is slope. So it is the ratio of the price of the two commodities. So that's the slope of the budget line. Now moving on. Now we are going to learn the consumer equilibrium under ordinal approach or indifference curve analysis. So consumer equilibrium is basically the equilibrium which gives maximum satisfaction from the given money and the price of two commodities. Consumer will attain the equilibrium at the point where the slope of indifference curve is equal to the slope of budget line. So the condition for equilibrium is the slope of indifference curve is equal to the slope of budget line, which is in symbolic form, it is MRS XY is equal to PX by Py. So MRS is your slope of the budget line. MRS XY is for X, and to give Y is giving two commodities are there, X and Y. So the marginal rate of substitution of for X and of Y, that is the MRS XY ka symbolic form meaning, and which is equal to the slope of budget line, that is the PX by PY. And the another condition is there, that is marginal rate of substitution must be diminished, or the indifference curve must be convex to the origin at the point of equilibrium. So that is the two condition must satisfied if the consumer wants to get maximum satisfaction from his given money and the price of two commodities. Now we know the indifference map is basically the family of indifference curve, where the higher and higher level of indifference curve shows the higher and higher level of satisfaction. So the indifference map we are requiring, and the budget line, if we place it, budget line as we discussed, that it is the combination of two goods that the consumer can afford on buying of two commodities from the given money. So now in the next slide we'll be depicting the indifference map with three indifference curve with IC1, IC2 and IC3 along with the budget line AB for good X and good Y. And if you place the budget line in a indifference map, you will find that three indifference curve and the budget line AB is placed. You will find the budget line is intersecting the indifference curve C, D and E point. C and D are on lower indifference curve and E point on the higher indifference curve, and there is IC3 curve is beyond the budget line. That's why it is unattainable for the consumer at the present income of the consumer. Now it's explained over here Now from the adjacent diagram we see that the combination C, D and E cost the same to the consumer because it is on the same budget line. In order to maximize his level of satisfaction, the consumer will try to reach the highest indifference curve with his given budget constant, that is AB. Now let's say consumer choose the combination C or D point. C or D point, as I say it that C and D point, if the consumer is willing to accept it, you will find C point and D point. In these 2 points, you will find that it is on the IC1, lower indifference curve. So C and D lies in the lower indifference curve IC1. He can easily afford the combination E because same amount he is spending. Point E look at in the IC2, the higher indifference curve. Now since E lies on the budget line and the highest possible indifference curve IC2, while there is the higher indifference curve IC3 which is beyond the budget line. IC3 because budget line over here he cannot move to the budget. IC3 because the constant is there, that his limitation is there within the AB, he has to spend on two commodities. You want to buy or consume the two commodities. He cannot afford to have in the IC3. If the income is increased, then budget line will be shifted, and in that case he may go to the IC3. But present income he is not going to buy, he is not going to afford any combination in IC3. So that's the over here. So the consumer now with the given money, given income, he is going to get the maximum satisfaction while he is consuming the combination of IC 2 ka E point, that is the slope of budget condition for, again it is satisfied at point E where slope of budget line and slope of indifference curve are equal over here, and IC2 curve look at the point of point of equilibrium. It is convex to the origin, and that's what the E will be the equilibrium quantity, equilibrium point for the to the consumer for consuming two commodity, good X and good Y. So that's the uh, we have seen over here that only the point E, because CD is cancelled because it is in the lower indifference curve. So the IC2 point E is the equilibrium for a consumer while he is consuming OP unit of good Y and OQ unit of good X. That's IC. Now what if the MRSXY is greater than Px by Py, or MRSXY means slope of budget line is less than the Px by Py. First situation we seen that the income of the consumer is constant. The equilibrium can be struck when the MRSXY fall and become equal to Px by Py. So it is the condition, as for condition MRSXY should be equal to Px by Py. So it is possible only when, that if it is possible only when you will find that the consumer starts more of good X in place of good Y. So you will find it over here that if the consumer is consuming more of good X, so denominator will be greater, this one X will be more, and as X is increased, MRS will decrease and vice versa. As then you will find equal, it become equal. Now as this one, if we require this to be equal to get the equilibrium. Now how it is possible? Every here is greater is there, so you have to decrease this part. You have to decrease the consumption of start consuming more of good X in place of good Y. So if you do it, then your MRS will decrease and then it become equal to the Px and Px by Py. So that is the first condition ka answer. Now second part is if MRSXY is less than Px by Py. You will find that the same logic is there. So his budget is constant and it will be stuck or it will be equal only when he is consuming more of y than in place of x. So in this case, what will happen? He is consuming more of y, so that means numerator is more greater, so the ratio become higher. So this will be become now equal. So as it is less, now you have to increase it, and to increase it, he has to consume more of good y in place of good x. That's how the equilibrium will stuck and consumer will get the equilibrium in these two situations if there is inequality in the equilibrium condition. Now monotonic preference, one terms is there. Monotonic preference would means that between two bundle the consumer will choose one where there is at least more of one good and no less of other goods. It is a psychological part. Basically in the consumer psychology, it's taking where there is getting number is more, not looking at the level of satisfaction, it's looking at the number. When he knows it that every combination gives the maximum same level of satisfaction, even then when the consumer is preferring a particular bundle of a commodity where he thought it that this bundle, thought means psychological, he think is the getting the more satisfaction than other combination, then it is known as monotonic preference. One bundle offers the more satisfaction as compared to the other, and where there is no less of other, then it is give, I mean he thought it that it will give the higher satisfaction. So that is a psychological concept of the consumer. So now we'll be discussing the finally two approach we have learned it. One is cardinal and ordinal utilities. Now what is the difference or comparison between the cardinal utility and ordinal utilities? So under cardinal utilities, utility is measured or derived by the consumer from the consumption of good or services can be expressed numerically. So this is the main point. Under cardinal approach, the quantity utility can be measured in terms of number or quantity, and it is in utils as we discussed earlier also. But in the ordinal utility states that the consumer whatever satisfaction is getting by consuming the goods and services expressed in terms on not in numerical, it is the rank of satisfaction. Okay, not expressed in terms of numerical unit. So now the measurement, it is utility can be measured in terms of utils, whereas the utility under cardinal approach, utility ranked under the basis of the rank as per the satisfaction, it is level of satisfaction. Concept cardinal utility based on marginal law of diminishing marginal utility or marginal utility analysis, and under ordinal approach it is based on the indifference curve analysis. That is the another difference is the concept. Now realistic as ordinal, that is cardinal utility is measured in terms of number, so it is unrealistic. If you are consuming one commodity and if someone asks that how that commodity is, then you are saying after getting the how much satisfaction you are getting it, and if you are expressed that I got it 3 2 4 something number, it become unrealistic. Whereas if you are consuming one commodity and after consuming, if someone asks that how the consume goods is or satisfaction is, and then if you say it that it is good or it is bad or it is poor or it is based something rank level of satisfaction, that is the realistic fact. That's what the ordinal utility is saying, it become more realistic fact. Now promoted by cardinal utility is promoted by Alfred Marshall and his follower, whereas the ordinal utilities approach or indifference curve approach is pioneered by Professor Hicks and Allen. So two economists they have introduced, Hicks and Allen's, they introduced the indifference curve approach. So this is the basic difference between cardinal and ordinal utilities or utility approach or indifference curve approach. I hope you understand the total concept of consumer behavior both in cardinal and ordinal utility concept. Thank you.